All right, buckle up, everyone, because today we are going deep, deep into the world of South African coins.
Sounds interesting.
You know, I'm usually not one for, like, pocket change,
Yeah.
but you sent over all those videos from that Top Coins YouTube channel,
Right.
and wow, let me tell you, I had no idea there was so much to discover about, like, the history and the symbolism and even potentially the value.
Well, it's funny how something we handle every day could be so easy to overlook, right?
Yeah,
I mean, these coins are more than just, currency.
right.
They're tangible links to South Africa's evolution as a nation.
Okay, so you've definitely got me intrigued.
Good.
Where do we even begin with all this?
Well, let's start with a coin that might be sitting in your pocket right now, the 1964 half cent.
Okay.
On the surface, it's, a simple design.
Yeah.
Jan van Riebeeck on one side, two sparrows on the other.
Okay.
But it's 1964 that's key here.
Okay, yeah, 1964.
Wow.
South Africa was in the thick of apartheid then, and they just transitioned to the rand.
It was a pretty tumultuous time, and it seems kind of strange to be stamping out cute little birds on coins, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the deeper dive comes in.
Okay.
So while the sparrows might seem kind of whimsical,
Yeah.
the choice to feature Jan van Riebeeck, who's a symbol of colonial arrival,
Right.
well, that takes on a whole different meaning in the context of apartheid. It speaks to those complexities of history, right?
Right.
And how different eras reinterpret symbols.
So they're like these little historical puzzles.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what about the value of this 1964 half cent?
Right.
Is it just a history lesson, or could it actually be worth something?
Well, like any collectible, the condition is key, right?
Yeah.
So a worn-out one from circulation might only get you $1 or $2,
Okay.
but an uncirculated version, especially in mint state, could jump to $50 or more.
Wait, hold on. How does a tiny coin like that jump from pocket change to $50?
That's where professional grading comes in.
Okay.
So services like NGC or PCGS, they examine these coins under a microscope.
Wow.
They're looking for any imperfections, checking the luster,
Yeah.
basically determining how pristine the coin is.
Okay.
And the better the grade, the higher the value.
Oh, so it's like a spa treatment for coins.
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
And the more pampered, the pricier they get.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But you know what's even more fascinating?
What's that?
Those YouTube videos you sent, they
Right.
mention that rare errors like misprints or off-center strikes can make these coins super valuable.
Absolutely.
Really?
A misprinted 1964 half cent could easily go for hundreds of dollars.
Wow.
It's the thrill of the unexpected that makes coin collecting so exciting.
Yeah.
You never know what hidden treasures you might find.
Okay, I'm officially hooked.
Good.
What's next on our South African coin safari?
Let's rewind the clock a bit
Okay.
to 1953 and take a look at the 1 penny coin.
Okay.
Now, this one features King George VI, reminding us that South Africa was still using pre-decimal currency tied to the British pound back then.
Right, the rand hadn't taken over yet.
Right.
But you know what I find really cool is the ship on the back.
Yeah.
It's the Dromedaris.
The Dromedaris.
One of the ships Jan van Riebeeck himself sailed on. So we've got another layer of colonial history woven in here.
Exactly. This coin is a reminder that South Africa's history is a tapestry of influences, and its coinage reflects that.
Yeah.
Now, if you happen to have one of these 1953 pennies lying around,
Yeah.
well, a circulated one might only fetch a few dollars.
Okay.
But an uncirculated one, especially in great condition, could be worth anywhere from $10 to $150.
Wow.
And of course, rare varieties can go for even more.
So it's not just about the big flashy coins. Even a humble penny can have some serious historical and monetary value.
That's right.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my curiosity.
Yep.
Let's keep digging.
All right, let's fast forward a decade back to the world of half cents.
Okay.
The 1963 version
All right.
brings back our familiar friends, Jan van Riebeeck and the Sparrows.
Ah, the dynamic duo returns.
That's right.
It's interesting how certain design elements reappear throughout different years.
Yeah.
So is this 1963 half cent just a repeat in terms of value, or are there any surprises here?
Well, the value breakdown is similar to the 1964 version.
Yeah.
Heavily influenced by condition.
Right.
But there's a twist.
Oh.
Proof coins.
Proof coins.
Yes.
You mentioned those earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the fancy ones, right?
Exactly. They're specially minted for collectors with a mirror-like finish and incredibly sharp details.
That's cool.
They're the coin collector's equivalent of a first edition book.
Okay. I'm starting to understand the hierarchy here.
Yeah.
So, if you find a proof version of the 1963 half cent, you're in for a treat.
Absolutely. Proof coins, especially those in pristine condition, can be worth a significant amount.
Now, 1994 was a monumental year for South Africa.
Yes, it was.
The end of apartheid and the start of Nelson Mandela's presidency.
Right.
I bet the coins from that year are pretty special.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The 1994 1-cent coin marks a symbolic shift instead of colonial figures.
Right.
It features the South African coat of arms representing unity in a new era.
Okay.
And on the flip side,
There's a flower. It's beautiful.
that's the arum lily, native to South Africa,
Oh, wow.
and a symbol of beauty, growth, and the optimism of a nation reborn.
Wow. They really went all out with the symbolism.
It did.
It's like this tiny coin encapsulates the hope of an entire nation.
It does.
So what about the value? Is it as historically significant as it is symbolically?
Well, a circulated 1994 1-cent might not be worth much more than its face value,
Okay.
but an uncirculated one could fetch between R50 and R500,
Okay.
and then there are those minting errors.
Ooh, the errors. Those are like the wild cards in this whole coin collecting game.
Yeah.
You mentioned they could make a coin super valuable.
Right.
What kind of errors are we talking about here?
We're talking about double strikes, where the coin is accidentally struck twice,
Okay.
off-center strikes, where the design is, well, off-center, and die cracks, which are fine lines caused by damage to the minting dies. These imperfections, as minor as they might seem,
Yeah.
can make a 1994 1-cent with thousands of rands.
Okay, now I'm starting to see why people get so passionate about coin collecting. It's
Yeah.
like every coin has a secret story waiting to be uncovered.
It does.
This is way more exciting than I ever imagined.
Good, I'm glad.
What other treasures do we have lined up?
Let's move on to a coin that continues that theme of South Africa's natural beauty,
Okay.
the 1995 50-cent piece.
Uh
This one features the majestic protea flower, a symbol of resilience and transformation.
It's a gorgeous design, and the protea seems like a fitting symbol for South Africa's journey post-apartheid.
Exactly. It represents the country's rebirth and growth.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of value, a circulated 1995 50-cent might not be worth much more than face value.
Right.
But as we've seen with other coins, the value can skyrocket for uncirculated versions or those with those exciting minting errors.
Right.
We're talking anywhere from R50 to over R1000 for uncirculated ones.
Wow.
And some error coins have even fetched over R5000.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah,
It seems like every South African coin has the potential to be a hidden treasure.
it does.
Okay, before we get too carried away, what's next on our list?
Let's jump ahead a few years
All right.
to the 2002 50-cent coin.
Okay.
This one features the South African coat of arms on one side and the King Protea flower on the other.
Okay.
What makes this one interesting is that it had a limited mintage,
Okay.
making it more scarce and therefore more collectible.
Ah, the classic supply and demand principle at play.
Yeah, exactly.
So even without any fancy errors,
Right.
a 2002 50-cent could be worth more than its face value simply because there aren't as many of them floating around.
Precisely. And of course, we can't forget the ever-present possibility of those value-boosting minting errors.
Right, of course.
Some 2002 50-cent coins with errors have fetched hundreds of dollars at auctions.
You know, I'm starting to feel like I need to go through my own change jar with a magnifying glass after this.
I think that's a good idea.
This deep dive has been eye-opening.
It's amazing what we can learn from these seemingly ordinary objects, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're little pieces of history, art, and even potential investment opportunities all rolled into one.
Okay, so before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
do you have any quick tips for those of us who might be inspired to, start our own coin collections?
Sure.
Or at least take a closer look at what we've got tucked away?
Absolutely. First and foremost, proper storage is crucial. Keep those coins safe from scratches and damage by storing them in protective cases or albums.
Right.
And if you think you've got something special, consider getting it professionally graded.
Okay.
It's like getting an appraisal for your coin,
Yeah.
and it can help determine its true value.
Great advice. We'll be back in just a moment to continue our exploration of South African coins.
Sounds good.
Don't go away.
See you soon.
Welcome back. I'm still kind of reeling from all these coin revelations.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
We've we've covered half cents, pennies, even 50-cent pieces. But you know what we haven't talked about yet?
The 1 rand coin.
You read my mind.
Of course.
It's such an iconic coin. I'm curious, how has its design evolved over the years?
Well, the 1 rand coin's design, it's like a visual timeline of South Africa itself.
Okay.
So in the early years, after its introduction in 1961,
Right.
it featured Jan van Riebeeck, much like those smaller denominations we discussed.
Makes sense. He was a major figure in South Africa's early colonial history. Right. But I have a feeling that didn't last forever, considering the changes we've seen in other coins.
You're right. As South Africa moved away from its colonial past and embraced a more inclusive national identity, the 1 rand coin's design, it shifted as well.
Okay.
For instance, from 1989 to 2000, the Springbok took center stage.
The springbok, as in the antelope.
Yeah, that's right.
That's such a cool choice.
It's a graceful animal. It symbolizes South Africa's, wildlife and athletic prowess.
Mm.
And then, after 2000, the design transitioned to feature a variety of indigenous birds,
Oh, wow.
further emphasizing the country's incredible biodiversity.
So we went from a colonial figure to a national animal and then to a celebration of nature.
Exactly.
It's amazing how these design choices reflect the evolution of a nation's identity.
Precisely. Each design tells a story.
Yeah.
And when you put them all together, you get a fascinating glimpse into South Africa's journey.
Okay, so let's talk about the value of these 1 rand coins. Are there any particular years or designs that collectors go crazy for?
As with any coin, the value depends on a trifecta: condition, rarity, and demand.
Right.
So, generally speaking, circulated 1 rand coins are worth their face value.
Okay, but I bet those uncirculated or proof versions can be worth a bit more.
Absolutely. And then there's always the possibility of those elusive minting errors,
Right.
which can significantly increase a coin's value.
So for our listeners who might have a stash of 1 rand coins gathering dust somewhere, it's worth taking a closer look.
Definitely examine them for any unusual features or errors.
Right.
And don't forget to check their condition. You might be sitting on a hidden gem.
You mentioned that the 1 rand coin features different birds after 2000.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about these designs?
Sure.
I'm picturing a whole flock of feathered friends on these coins.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
The South African Mint launched a series called The Birds of South Africa, featuring a different bird on the 1 rand coin each year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a beautiful and popular series.
What a fantastic way to showcase the country's diverse avian population.
Exactly.
I'm already imagining the collector's albums for this series.
Oh, yeah.
So some of the birds that have been featured include the African fish eagle,
Right.
the blue crane, the secretary bird,
Yep.
and the helmeted guinea fowl.
Quite a lineup.
Yeah, that's quite a lineup.
Yeah.
All this talk about condition and value got me thinking, can you give us some tips on how to determine the condition of a coin?
Sure.
I mean, besides not cleaning them, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
The first step is to examine your coins under good lighting, ideally with a magnifying glass if you have one.
Okay.
Look for any signs of wear and tear, like scratches, dents, or loss of detail in the design.
Okay, that makes sense. What about the shine or luster?
Right.
Does that play a role?
Absolutely. A coin in uncirculated condition, it should retain its original mint luster,
Okay.
that bright reflective shine.
Right.
Circulated coins, on the other hand, will have a duller appearance due to handling and wear.
So the less shiny, the less valuable.
Generally, yes, but it's not always that straightforward.
Okay.
Even a circulated coin can have value,
Yeah.
especially if it's from a rare year or has a unique error.
Right. It's all about that combination of factors,
Right.
condition, rarity, and demand.
That's right.
Speaking of rarity,
Yes.
how can our listeners figure out if their coins are rare or sought after by collectors?
There are some great resources available online,
Okay.
coin databases and catalogs. They can provide information on mintage figures,
Okay.
which tell you how many coins were produced in a particular year.
Right.
The lower the mintage, the rarer the coin.
So if you find a coin with a low mintage, you might be in luck, especially if it's in good condition. But what about demand? How can you tell if a coin is, hot in the collector's market?
That's where connecting with other enthusiasts comes in.
Ah.
Joining online coin forums or talking to reputable coin dealers can give you a sense of what's trending in the collecting world.
It's all about tapping into that collective knowledge.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, we've talked a lot about regular circulated coins.
Right.
But what about those fancy proof coins you mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
Those are the collector's items, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Proof coins are especially minted for collectors.
Right.
And they go through a different striking process that results in a mirror-like finish and incredibly fine details.
So they're like the VIPs of the coin world.
Yeah, you could say that.
I bet they're worth a pretty penny.
They can be.
Yeah.
Because they're made specifically for collectors.
Right.
Their mintage figures are usually much lower than regular circulation coins,
Right.
making them rarer and often more valuable.
Now, are all South African coins available in proof versions?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it just certain denominations or years?
The South African Mint, they started issuing proof coins more regularly in the latter half of the 20th century.
Okay.
So if you have a proof coin from the 1970s or later,
Yeah.
it's definitely worth investigating.
All right, listeners, take note. Those proof coins could be hidden treasures.
That's right.
You know, we've been focusing a lot on the visual aspects of coins, the designs, the condition, the luster.
Right.
But what about the feel of a coin? Does that matter to collectors?
You've hit on something that's often overlooked.
Yeah.
The feel of a coin, its weight, its texture, even the sound it makes when you drop it can enhance the overall collecting experience.
So it's not just about what you see, it's about what you feel too.
Exactly. Experienced collectors often develop a tactile appreciation for coins.
Okay.
They can identify different metals and minting techniques just by the way a coin feels in their hand.
Wow, that's impressive. It's like they have a sixth sense for coins.
It just goes to show how passionate and knowledgeable coin collectors can be.
Now, I've heard the term edge used when describing coins.
Mm-hmm.
What does that refer to, and does it have any impact on a coin's value?
The edge of a coin is the outer rim,
Yeah.
the part that's not part of the main design.
Okay.
Edges can be smooth, reeded, with vertical grooves,
What?
or lettered.
Okay.
And you're right, the type of edge can affect a coin's value.
Really? I never would have guessed that something as seemingly insignificant as the edge could matter.
It's all about those little details.
Yeah.
For example, some South African coins from certain years were minted with both smooth and reeded edges.
Okay.
The rarer edge variety is usually more desirable to collectors and can command a higher price.
So it's another thing to pay attention to when you're examining your coins.
It is.
You know, it's amazing how much depth there is to this hobby.
Yeah, there is.
It's not just about collecting shiny objects. It's about history, symbolism, craftsmanship, and the thrill of the hunt.
You've summed it up perfectly.
Yeah.
There's so much more to coin collecting than meets the eye.
Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Oh.
I want to circle back to the topic of minting errors.
Sure.
We've touched on them throughout our discussion, but I think they deserve a little more attention.
Yeah.
After all, they seem to be the holy grail for many collectors.
I agree. Minting errors are incredibly fascinating.
Yeah.
Not just for their rarity,
Right.
but also for the unique window they provide into the coin-making process.
So for those of us who are, new to this whole coin collecting world, what are some of the most common minting errors we should be on the lookout for?
Well, one of the most noticeable errors is the double strike.
Okay.
This happens when a coin is accidentally struck twice by the dies,
Okay.
creating a sort of ghostly or shadowed image.
I bet that's pretty easy to spot. What else should we be looking for?
Another common one is the off-center strike,
Okay.
where the coin isn't properly aligned with the dies,
Right.
resulting in a design that's partially or completely off the flan.
I've seen pictures of those, and they look pretty wild.
What to do?
Are there any other errors that get collectors excited?
Die cracks are another one to watch out for.
Okay.
These are fine lines or cracks that appear on the coin's surface
Right.
due to wear and tear on the dies.
And these errors can seriously boost the value of a coin, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The severity of the error and the rarity of the coin itself
Yeah.
can make a huge difference in its value.
Hmm.
Some error coins have sold for astronomical prices at auctions.
Wow. So if someone thinks they've found a coin with an error,
Yeah.
what should they do?
The first rule is don't clean it.
Right. Right. Hands off those potential treasures.
Exactly.
So what's the next step?
Take some clear, well-lit photographs of the coin from different angles.
Okay.
Then it's best to consult with a reputable coin dealer or a professional grading service,
Right.
they can authenticate the error and give you an accurate assessment of the coin's value.
Sound advice, it's always best to get expert help when you're dealing with something as potentially valuable as a rare coin.
Yeah, that's right.
We've been talking about the value of these South African coins in dollars and rands,
Mm-hmm.
but are they actually considered valuable outside of South Africa?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes, South African coins are collected and traded all over the world.
Really? So their appeal goes beyond South Africa's borders.
Absolutely. Their historical significance, unique designs,
Yeah.
and the potential for rare errors attract collectors globally.
Okay.
Numismatics, the study of coins, is a worldwide hobby.
Right.
And collectors are always searching for interesting and valuable pieces to add to their collections,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of where the coins originated.
That's so cool.
It is.
It just goes to show how coins can transcend borders and connect people through a shared passion for history and collecting.
Exactly. They're like little ambassadors of culture and history.
Okay, let's do a quick recap of what we've covered so far.
Sure.
We've explored the history and designs of various South African coins, from the tiny half cent to the iconic 1 rand.
Right.
We've discussed the holy trinity of coin value, condition, rarity, and demand.
That's right.
And we've delved into the fascinating world of minting errors,
Mm-hmm.
which can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream.
It's been quite a journey, and I hope our listeners have gained a newfound appreciation for these seemingly everyday objects
Yeah.
that hold so much history and potential value.
Me too. But before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more aspect of coin collecting that I think is really important: the emotional connection. It's not just about the money, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Coin collecting is a deeply personal hobby for many collectors.
Right.
It's about the historical significance,
Right.
the stories that each coin tells,
Yeah.
and that tangible connection to the past.
It's like holding a piece of history in your hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for some, it's a way to preserve family history or commemorate special events.
I can see that there's something magical about owning a coin that was in circulation during a pivotal moment in history.
Right.
It's like you're holding a tiny piece of that time period.
It's a way to make history come alive,
Yeah.
to feel a tangible link to the past.
Beautifully said. And for others, it's the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of finding a rare or valuable coin.
Yes, the pursuit of knowledge, the challenge of building a comprehensive collection, these are all driving forces behind the passion for coin collecting.
It's a hobby that combines history, art, and a touch of treasure hunting all rolled into one. And it's a hobby that's accessible to everyone regardless of their budget or experience level.
That's right.
That's what I love about it. You can start a coin collection with just a few spare coins from your pocket change.
And who knows, you might just stumble upon a hidden gem.
We'll be back in just a moment to wrap up our depth dive into the fascinating world of South African coins. Don't go away.
See you soon.
Welcome back to the final part of our South African coin deep dive. It's amazing how much we've uncovered just from like a handful of coins.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
We've journeyed through like decades of South African history, explored symbolism, design, even touched on the thrill of those elusive minting errors.
Right. Those errors are always exciting.
Yeah, they have definitely captured my imagination. It's like each coin has this like hidden story waiting to be revealed.
They do.
But what really struck me is how these coins reflect the broader narrative of South Africa's journey as a nation.
Exactly. From colonial figures to national symbols and the celebration of natural heritage, each coin is like a tiny piece of a much larger puzzle.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, what are some key takeaways for our listeners who might be, inspired to start their own coin collections or just want to examine their own coins more closely?
Well, I'd say first and foremost, follow your interest. Don't feel obligated to, collect everything under the sun.
Right.
Focus on a theme, a time period, or even a particular design that speaks to you.
Yeah, passion is key. It's like any hobby. If you're not genuinely interested, it won't be as rewarding.
Exactly. And once you've found your niche, do your research.
Yeah.
There are tons of online resources, books, and even local coin clubs
Right.
where you can connect with other enthusiasts and learn from their expertise.
Community is so important, especially when you're, diving into a new area of interest.
Absolutely. And when it comes to handling your coins, remember those tips we discussed earlier? Avoid cleaning them, handle them by their edges, and store them properly in protective holders or albums.
Yeah, those are golden rules for preserving the value and condition of your collection.
Now, if you think you've stumbled upon a rare or valuable coin, the first step is to resist the urge to clean it.
Right. Cleaning can actually do more harm than good. Leave that to the professionals.
Exactly. Instead, take clear, well-lit photographs of the coin from various angles.
Okay.
And then consult with a reputable coin dealer or professional grading service.
They can authenticate the coin, assess its condition, and give you a more accurate idea of its value.
And remember, even if a coin isn't worth a fortune,
Yeah.
it can still hold immense personal or historical value.
That's a great point. Sometimes the sentimental value is just as important, if not more so, than the monetary value.
Absolutely. So as we conclude our deep dive, I encourage you to look at South African coins with a newfound appreciation.
Yeah.
Don't just see them as, currency. See them as little pieces of history, art, and storytelling.
Examine their details, feel their weight, and let them transport you back to the time and place they represent.
And who knows, you might just have a hidden treasure tucked away in your own wallet or change jar.
Well, it's been a pleasure exploring the world of South African coins with you.
Likewise, I've enjoyed it.